picked up Clash of Clans after like a whole year, and I upgraded the balloon to level 9. I'm recording already, guys. Um, something I've always felt weird about both the whole trad wife movement and the idea of feminism. So let's talk about it. In the past, like in the Middle Ages, women still contributed to some kind of economic gain, because families like were the basic unit of income, as opposed to two individual outcomes, like they had family workshops and family farms. But here's the thing too. Women mostly took on the jobs which they could, of course. They could take on the jobs which were less physically demanding and which were also more community oriented. Now, this is something that a lot of people simply do not get. They would often mention that the jobs that women do require a lot of emotional investment. It is true that the jobs that women do require a lot of emotional investment. What they do not tell you on the flip side is there is a huge emotional return on investment in terms of the jobs which women do. Like, how many children do you go ahead and go out and ask? Like, go ahead and ask children who they love more. A majority of children are gonna say that they love their moms more. Like, that is not something you can put a price tag on. The fact that people call this unpaid labor, and it's also saying something like men are making money for the sake of making money. Men are not making money for the sake of making money. That is like portraying someone as a demon. People are mostly making money because they want a better life. They want the validation of the people that they love to give them a better life, to hear that they love you, right? That is the whole point of money. But if you get that without making money, you are actually still getting paid, though not in cash. The problem is when you looking at money as the only form of payment that a human being can receive is a neo-capitalist, and it's I believe it has a certain motivation to it. It has a certain motivation to it, pushing that agenda.
Yeah, exactly. But money is just a means to the end. Now, some people are going to be like, oh, I'd rather be, rich and not have a child than, being broke and have a child. All right, it's your choice. But people around the world who are deciding to have kids and mothers who are deciding to not have a job and letting them die provide, they're doing it for their own, fulfillment. Right? You don't have to do it, but at least for the people who are doing it, let them do that.
Yeah, and here's also another interesting thing. While women did work jobs, like I said, men were also taking on the jobs which had no return on investment. Now, office work may not require as much emotional investment as parenting does. The truth is, it still does. You still have to control your anger. Sometimes you just get pissed at your boss and you cannot shout at them. That happens more times than it's very often. You sometimes feel pissed at, let's say you are a teacher, you feel pissed at the students, but you cannot beat the shit out of them, right? This happens a lot in most jobs. So in the jobs that guys do, they require emotional investment as well, but the problem is there is also no return on that investment. With raising a child, there is a return on that emotional investment. And again, when you work from home, let's say if it's textile, if it's housework, then you still have the opportunity to socialize with others. And I have mentioned this before. What is the primary mode of socialization among women?
Gossips?
Yeah, and that is not interfered. That's not interfered by working from home or historically the jobs which women have taken on. Like when you are working at a textile, you get to interact with other people. When you are, let's say, a midwife or a healer, you get to interact with other people all day. But let's say you are a farmer, you are interacting with your scythe. If you are, even today, if you are a computer programmer or a coder or some guy working in an office, your main interaction is your goddamn computer screen.
No, and even if you have to interact with people, the thing is, the corporate culture is, rather than saying it to their face, what's preferred is that you mail them, even if it's just 2 lines. You can't say it to somebody. Like, let's say if I have to say, if I have faced this firsthand in my college itself. When I say, sir, could you please provide us with the syllabus? They're like, okay, mail me in the evening. They're like, for every little inconvenience that happens, you have to mail them. That happens way more often in an IT job. Everything that happens is in front of your computer, and your wall is with your keyboard.
Yeah, like even having human interactions at a job is so important. And when a job is extremely labor based, it has like historically most of men's jobs have been. It becomes far less emotionally rewarding, and it becomes, of course, like it has always been physically intensive. Society has, for a reason, paid these jobs more than they have paid women's jobs. Like people get paid for the job nobody really likes doing. They do not get paid for the job where they get to keep their hobbies, where they get to keep their socialization. They do not get paid high for jobs where they don't have to sacrifice their physical and mental well-being. Like while the
So
emotional
people, you know,
sacrifices of women are always mentioned, it's barely mentioned that there are emotional returns, and the emotional sacrifices of men are never mentioned. It's like the
people
jobs.
are
And
people are
the
quick
funny
to
part is
just
there
say
is
like
no
how much.
reward. There's a material reward,
Yeah.
and the material reward you get, you don't get the feedback that you actually want. Your son is or daughter is still probably gonna love you, the mother more. That is actually a very sad thing. All right, he is on another call. He is on another call for some reason. So we wait. That's the address of Professor Roy Baumeister. You're gonna probably talk to him. We'll be back.